Hey friends, this is Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead with a tea break. How's it going, everyone? Well, my garden is still producing zucchini and crookneck squash. Howie and I went out yesterday, or last night before supper, and he went out to water the stuff that's in the greenhouse. And I went out I had pulled onions yesterday, but I didn't have enough room in my bucket to bring them up to the porch. I gotta get them. It was raining. So I left them on an empty bed while I brought in my peppers and zucchini and stuff like that. So last night I went back out to grab the onions, and Howie said, "Why haven't you picked the zucchini?" I said, "I did." He said, "No, you didn't." He pulled a great big green zucchini out, and I pulled a great big yellow zucchini out, and we got some yellow crookneck squash. I'm grateful for the bounty. I really am. So there's a couple of zucchini videos coming up, as if you didn't, if you didn't figure that one out by this point. But I'm getting really creative in how to cook with zucchini. Last night I made spaghetti, which is a standard kind of Monday night meal around here. And I made spaghetti. I put in, I browned ground beef, onions, mushrooms. I'd gone out to the garden to get a pepper, and that's when I pulled all my onions and stuff, and I chopped a pepper into it. And then I had a big flat tub I still had grated zucchini in the fridge, so I grabbed 2 great big handfuls and I put it in the sauce. Do you know the water cooked off and it thickened the sauce, and how he didn't even know it? And that was just shredded zucchini. It was awesome too. So that's just kind of not very creative. I just did it because it was there. But, we added an extra vegetable to our spaghetti sauce last night. And I have some left over. So I'm going to be doing a zucchini supper tomorrow with something new, something different. Somebody sent me it, but I don't have all the same ingredients, so I'm just going to make it my own. And I'm also going to do some zucchini baking because it's time. It's really time to bake and freeze some zucchini bread and chocolate zucchini bread and got anything else I can think of to do with zucchini, right? So that's coming up. What else? I'm really looking forward to doing my garden medley vegetables. It's basically just whatever I can take out of the garden, and it'll end up in a jar. Now, I have been having problems with my tomatoes this year, and I've heard that other people have been having problems with their tomatoes, and not just that people's seeds aren't producing what they said some people's seeds are not producing what they said on the package. Oh yeah, like a squash, they plant a zucchini, it comes out as a squash plant, they end up with gourds. Somebody else got cherry tomatoes instead of beefsteak. Right? Well, I used an unopened packet of organic Manitoba tomatoes. The reason my harvest has been so poor, other than the weather, is that some tomatoes are going orange and I'm waiting for them to go red, and they rot and fall off the vine. Some tomatoes are red with green stripes in them, and I'm waiting for them to ripen, and they rot and fall off the vine. Some tomatoes are this big and bright red. Some tomatoes are beefsteak. I got a package of mixed seeds. The only thing I didn't get in those seeds was Roma tomatoes, or plum tomatoes, or paste tomatoes, people call them, or Amish paste tomatoes. I didn't get any Romas or any cherry tomatoes. But I got mixed. I got orange tomatoes. I've got red tomatoes that have green stripes. I have beefsteak tomatoes, and I have small, like they almost are like are subarctic plenty, which are not much bigger than a cherry tomato. So Howie and I have been struggling to get enough tomatoes to can. And tomatoes are not, tomatoes are not cheap right now. right? Because if I'm having issues, then maybe the farmers are too, right? I personally think that a lot of seeds were mixed up so that people wouldn't save seeds. There's that, right? Because you got 6 different tomato plants, they're going to cross-pollinate all over the bloody place, right? So Howie and I have been picking anything that is green with any kind of blush on it. And I'm up to probably a third, I'm between a third and a half a bushel. So hopefully I'll be soon doing my garden medley vegetables, because I've got diced zucchini in the freezer waiting. I've got celery in the freezer waiting. I just pulled my onions, which they can wait a few days. And I have some peppers. I didn't get a lot of peppers this year. Oh, that's another thing. I planted a rainbow mix of sweet peppers, and I got 50% hot peppers. Right? So there's that. Right? Because I picked a rainbow sweet pepper mix and a Wisconsin Bell, I think, mix. And I got hot peppers. Most of them are hot peppers. So I want to make my garden medley vegetables this year with everything from my garden. Tomato, not everything, but tomatoes, everything going into it coming from my garden. Tomatoes, celery, zucchini, onions, leeks, peppers. You know what I mean? And tomatoes. And that's going to be a powerhouse for starting any sauce or any soup or any casserole, right? And it's awesome as goulash. You just brown hamburger, throw in a jar, and when it all comes up to a bubble, you throw in a handful of pasta and you got goulash. It's really good. So I'm going to be harvesting my leeks tomorrow. And so you're going to get a video on that. And you're going to get some zucchini videos. So things, I'm going to be moving forward with things. It's just things are taking more time than usual. And there's also the fact, my carrots are doing really well. The one bed of carrots, I actually might have 2 or 3 pounds of carrots in that. But here's the deal. We normally get deer carrots at the last week of August, the first week of September. It is now the 12th of September, and nobody from Maniwaki to Wakefield has deer carrots or deer apples. Now, I was reminded in chat to tell people there are different names in different provinces and states for this. Sometimes they'll call them juicing apples, cider apples, juicing carrots, horse carrots, seconds, like factory farm seconds, or deer carrots. And you can usually get a 35 to 50 pound bag for $8 or $9. It used to be $7, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got it this year for $10. But I'll be grateful to get it if it comes at all. Right? So we're all getting ready for winter here, and I'm not seeing the tomato sales in the grocery stores where you can get a 15-pound box for $9. I'm not seeing the deer carrots and the deer apples. So yes, I'm picking every single tomato that's worth saving and letting them ripen in my porch, and carefully cutting away any slug bites and stem ends and putting them in a box in the freezer, because this is like no year I have ever seen for harvest. And I knew my instincts last year when I canned and dehydrated 100 pounds of carrots. I knew I should have done more, because I've got 1 jar of carrots left from last year, and everything else is like, so hopefully I'm going to get more potatoes and do another potato video, and it's not dry canning, it is dry packing. There's a difference. Dry canning is where you put stuff in a jar with the lid off in the oven, and then after an hour, you take it out, you put the lid on, and it seals like flour or rice or whatever, right? It's at 200 degrees. I don't do that anymore because I freeze my flour, and once it comes out of the freezer and comes up to room temperature, I jar it up in half-gallon jars and tins, and I put it in my pantry, right? Dry packing is the method I used. Now, I think I had discoloration because I should have put citric acid or some lemon juice in the water in the final soaking, like in the final water that they were going into. So when I get more potatoes, I am going to do another dry packing potato video, and I'm going to try putting citric acid or lemon juice in the water and see if that makes a difference. Okay? So, lots of things coming up. I'm waiting on more things to harvest. All right? And there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be some cooking videos and baking videos and all that stuff. And bread season is coming. So, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, I'll see you soon. Videos are coming. Take care. God bless. And I'm going to leave the link for my Rumble channels in the description box below this video. And I'm going to leave a link for a Rumble video that I would like you all to have a look at. Okay? Take care. God bless. Mwah! I love you guys. Never forget that. That's why I keep coming back every day.